I'm here with Blaine Mengel from Backwoods Angler, and Blaine, you're starting a TV show too, I see.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about it.
Backwoods Angler TV premiered February 14th. We've got shows for this upcoming season through the first week of May, and we're televising on Service Electric cable systems and Blue Ridge cable systems, as well as on the internet. We've got shows from my home water to Delaware River, a couple shows from there, a couple of Susquehanna shows. We got to Lake Champlain and did a couple of shoots up there with Pete at Long Pond Lodge. They actually got me wielding a fly rod for rainbow trout. Yes, well, you know what? We had to work with that one a little bit. But we caught some really big trout. You know, it's been a lot of fun, really.
So
really
TV shows aren't as easy as they look. Am I right?
No. You know what? But I'm surprised at how much fun I'm having with the editing part of it. I really am. You know, I really enjoy sitting with Chris Manley, our producer, and just picking apart stuff. And we have a ball with it. We really do.
Well, I used to do that, and then they threw me out because I didn't know what I was doing. So I let the people know what they're
Absolutely.
doing. Let's get into some. I mean, you are a guide on the Delaware River and other places. But
yes.
What's the upcoming season going to be like? I mean, we had spoken about it a little bit.
I'm going to find out a little bit more about that in a couple of days. If I have to shovel my way to the river, I'm going to get out there. I'm very encouraged because we got a lot of snow. Everybody knows, anybody in this area knows how much snow we got. That means good water flows in the river this spring. We had a very average to below average year last year because we had no water flow.
Yeah, and that's important, especially on the Delaware River, especially because that water flow is where it attracts the fish.
Yeah, it makes it easier. My job's easier when the water's elevated because it packs those fish in very specific and very predictable areas.
Right. Where are you going to start fishing first this year? Are you going to start in the eastern area? Or going to go up north, or where?
I vary it usually. You know, northern areas tend to be my favorite areas because there's some deeper, slower eddies up there, and then as things warm up, you know, I'll move it. But what I like to do with clients, as my season really starts to take, you know, to go into effect, when I start getting more bookings, I'll stagger my ramps. I'll stagger where I put in, because I don't like to beat the same water up every day.
Right, yeah.
So it's like I'll go in one day here, one day there, and I'll kind of.
Now I've done a number of shows with you, and I fished with you a lot.
Yeah.
What's the new bait that you came out with or have this year that is going to knock those smallies down?
You know, I was up on the tank doing seminars at Harrisburg, and Chris Gorsuch, my Susquehanna River guide, he pours some jigs for us, and he poured this little, it's almost like a man's stingray grub, and he puts a little skirt around it, puts it on a football head. And the cool thing about it was that thing, we did that in the bass tank, and it stood, and that tail just sat there for lethargic post-spawn high bluebird sky fish. When they're sitting there deep, they don't want to do nothing. You sit that jig in front of them, jiggle it a little bit, almost like a shaky head style worm, but it's a jig, and it imitates darters and sculpins on the bottom. And those fish in that Harrisburg tank, man, they looked at that bait, and we've got cool video of them coming down there, and they're just staring, and all I do is go like this and pop it, and they just grab it. It's good stuff. So that's one I'm encouraged.
Oh, that's good.
That was a cool jig.
That's good. How do you see the fish population on the river? Is it still as good, or does it decline, or is it that ebb and flow that we usually get?
I've seen, well, in about the last 3 or 4 years, I've noticed a decrease in quality fish. As far as like more, we aren't catching as many 19 and 20-inch fish the last couple of years. As opposed to 8 and 10 years ago, we caught less numbers of fish, but we caught a lot of big fish, a lot of 20+ inch fish. Now we had a 22 3/4 inch 5.7 off the river last year.
Well,
that was a pig.
That was a big.
But my numbers of 20s, 20+s, a lot of 17s, 18s, and up to 19s, which are great fish.
Yeah.
Right, they're great fish. But those 20s are a little bit off from what I'm used to.
You think it's just because of that edge of fish? I mean, like, you know, a 3-year school,
I think that's all it is.
And it's just it's going to go up or down.
And I'll tell you what else, I don't know if it's because of the way they have the flows regulated up in New York. We've had a lot of low water.
Right.
You know, and in my experience, higher water years, higher water periods, we catch more big fish.
Well, I have to agree with you,
You know?
because same thing happens on the lower part of the river where I'm at. Once that high water comes up, those bigger fish are there.
It's just
and
there.
when that water goes down, I can't find them anymore.
October, I was pulling my hair out this year. It's like I had to fish an area. I'd cover 7 miles of river for 12 fish.
Wow.
And then I decided, you know what, I'm going to try one thing one day, and the water was low, was cooling. Shad fry loaded up in this one hole, and by 2 o'clock in the afternoon, it was shaded. So there was low light for 4 hours. I'd catch 25 or 30 fish in a 300-yard stretch of river, whereas I was fishing 7 miles for 12.
Wow. So it's just that.
So it was just one of those things. You had to put the whole puzzle together and say, the shad fry are there, it's low light, the water's clear, we're going to get more feeding.
Wow,
you know?
that's pretty good. Well, look, I'm going to see you on the water this year.
All right, Bob.
I'm sure we're going to get maybe a show in together, and you can show me some of them secret tips you got there. maybe a couple suspending jerk baits in there
That
too.
sounds good.
Hey, I'm Bob Murray, and I'll see you on the water.